Ladies and gentlemen, back at the softball tournament. I guess we are benefiting the Down syndrome of Greater Richmond. We're out here with Karen Ivy of Leashes for Valor.
Leashes of Valor.
Leashes of Valor. Now, one of the great things about having our own radio show is you run into people doing some really cool things. So, Karen, let us know about your organization and what you guys do.
So we are a organization out of Northern Virginia that was founded by 3 Purple Heart veterans who served after 9/11. And those veterans each ended up with various disabilities, including post-traumatic stress and other issues that ultimately ended up with them receiving service dogs for their way of trying to heal the wounds that they had after serving our country. And so each of them had a service dog, and for various reasons, they decided to commit themselves to providing that service for other veterans, realizing what a difference it could make in getting veterans back on track after a lot of them had self-isolated due to their traumas. And so we right now raise service dogs for veterans, and we provide those dogs to the veterans for free. And we take care of all of the costs that are associated with that for the life of that dog.
All righty, on the mic with Mike. Karen is here with us. I always say changing the world ain't cheap, easy, or free. How do you make magic happen? Like, what's the process? Because, you know, you guys are doing something that's very important, and you have to have people who believe in your mission.
Right. So we are 100% supported by donations. We don't receive any governmental support. So we go out and we share our mission.
Tell your story.
Well, we go out and we explain the difference that these dogs have made to each one of the veterans that have received them. We provide dogs to people from all over the country, all backgrounds, all branches of service. We are starting right now to be able to assist veterans with actual physical disabilities. We're going to have some dogs that can help veterans get up off the ground if they have fallen.
Really?
We have people who were participating in our golf tournament last week that were amputees. And one of the things that happens on a regular basis is they lose their balance. And so we now will have dogs that can help them get off the ground if they happen to fall. Our labs that we have now, frankly, are not structured to be able to help a grown man or woman up off the ground without hurting the dog. And so we now are going to be breeding dogs that are a combination of a Mastiff and a Labrador, so that when a veteran falls, that dog can actually help them get back up on their feet, literally.
Wow.
So we're excited about that.
That's something to be excited about. So you are creating, you're offering help, and now you guys are really making the dog that can help.
We actually are doing that.
You're breeding.
We'll be breeding for that. Now, our dogs that we currently have, we have 23 dogs that are in our training program, and we start with them when they're 10 weeks old.
Okay.
Those dogs are donated to us by Hero Labs, which is out of Texas. And Chuck, who owns that organization, donates 3 litters a year to us. And those dogs start training at 10 weeks, and they usually will go to their veterans when they're between 16 and 18 months old. So we're also a very unique organization in that our dogs are raised in foster homes. So they are not raised in kennels, which is pretty common for a lot of service dogs. Our dogs actually are raised in loving foster homes, surrounded by kids and activities. So by the time those dogs get to their veterans, they've been exposed to everything.
So you're training the dogs, but they're also being, because it takes a certain temperament to be a service dog.
Absolutely.
Because I see, you know, like I did. You see a dog. Now, I'm not the biggest dog guy. I was a paper boy, so I was kind of scared of dogs. But, you know, when you see one that's friendly, you instantly want to reach out. That's not what's supposed to happen with service. And I see the signs that say, please don't pet the service dog.
Absolutely. Now, service dogs, and we really emphasize this, are supposed to be entirely focused on the needs of their veteran. Our veterans sometimes will have panic attacks. They get claustrophobic. They get very nervous about somebody coming up behind them, and they're not prepared for being startled. Things like that are associated with the traumas that they were exposed to in war. So our dogs are supposed to be entirely focused on the needs of their veterans.
So that's what it is.
They're not pets. And so we want the dogs to be doing their job and working and taking their job seriously. And when someone comes and distracts them, that takes them away.
It's like
from
going to
their
somebody's
mission.
workplace, messing with them at work.
It's actually just like that. It would be like, would you ever approach somebody in a wheelchair and say, "May I take your wheelchair for a spin around the block?"
No, we're not. Okay.
Exactly.
So
So
we're not
the
doing
dog
that.
actually is a tool in that sense, that that veteran is relying on the dog to pay attention to them all the time so that nothing happens, and they're trusting that dog to do that job.
Something you brought up just made me think. Now, can a service dog be, if you have other pets, like how do they interact with like regular dogs?
That is a fantastic question. And that actually is why we also raise the service dogs with fosters in families. So when our veterans get their dogs, they may have a pet at home. The difference is that our dogs are trained to be specifically looking for the alerts that show that our veteran is going through some type of issue. So it may be that the dog is having, or that the veteran is having nightmares. That dog, the other pets in the family will sleep right through it. They might be snoring at the same time. Our dogs are trained to always be watching the mannerisms, the breathing patterns, those kind of things. And so that if they notice that our veteran is starting to hyperventilate, starting to fidget while he's sleeping, that dog will immediately go and reach up.
Nudge?
They will start with a gentle nudge. Then they'll go from a nudge to maybe laying on top of that veteran as a comfort, like a weighted blanket. Or they may start licking that veteran's face to see if they can bring them out of that disturbing dream.
That is great. Karen Ivey with Leashes of Valor. All righty. So how can people find you out there? Karen Williams, don't go anywhere. Don't sneak off. Okay. Okay, she's coming right back. All right. How can people find you?
We have Facebook pages, we have an Instagram page, and we have a website, Leashes of Valor. And we are based out of Milford, Virginia, which is right at the line for Caroline County.
Okay.
So we are a local run, veteran founded organization just dedicated to serving our veterans and actually now our first responders.
Really quickly on the way out, you had said you had a program that was starting for women. Can you touch on that really quickly?
We can. Again, this is something that is brand new, and that is addressing the needs of women in the military who have been the victim of sexual trauma. That is unfortunately something that has been coming up, and we needed to address it. We found several women who are suffering from the trauma and post-traumatic stress of being attacked or violated while serving our country. And so we actually have a group of 4 women that will be coming in May to receive their service dogs. This will be our first class of women who will be specifically coming for military sexual trauma.
On the mic with Mike, ESPN Richmond, a choice as well. This is interesting. This is why I came out today. So so you have to come back to the program where we can dedicate some time to talk to you about what you're doing. I'd love to hear more. So I met my wife 40 years ago in the Army. So the Army
You must have been 5 years old. How is that even possible?
I would say good, clean living, but that's, I've gotten my money's worth. We'd like to thank you for coming on the program. We're here out at the Down Syndrome Association's annual softball tournament. On the mic with Mike King will be back. Thanks now. Thank you, Karen.